Imagine a way for us to help transform vacant historic buildings into vibrant community assets. Imagine a way for us to help improve the homes of senior citizens and make our communities more affordable to people of all incomes. Imagine that our library could get a new roof and other needed improvements without a multi-year fundraising drive. Imagine that a stunning natural asset is safe and accessible and open to the public for swimming and fishing. Imagine that our historic town buildings had funds readily available for capital improvements. Imagine that there is ample funding to pay farmers and woodland owners for permanently conserving their land for future generations. Imagine that our towns could get not 0.5%, not 2% return on financial investment, but 100% dollar for dollar. Seems too good to be true? All of this and more would be made possible by the Community Preservation Act, or the CPA. It's imperative that when we talk about the natural and cultural assets that define our sense of place, we also talk about the tools to preserve, repair, and enhance them. And the CPA does just that. CPA is a Massachusetts law that allows communities to raise money locally, combines it with state matching monies to create a local community preservation fund. Every year, 10% of that fund must be spent or saved for open space conservation projects, affordable housing, and historic preservation projects. The remaining 70% of that fund can go towards any three of those areas or public recreation. And who decides how this money gets spent? You do. A local community preservation committee recommends projects, and town meeting must approve each one. So what's the catch? Well, there really isn't one, but there are reasons why people object to it. First and foremost, the local funds come from a surcharge on property taxes, where a lot of us feel the pinch already. That surcharge can be any number up to 3% of your property tax bill. That's a hard number to calculate, so I ran the numbers for us. So for the average value home in Buckland and Shelburne, that would be about $100 a year, or less than $2 a week. And that would yield nearly $55,000 a year. The state match is set up as a formula that gives preference to communities that adopt the CPA at the full 3% surcharge, and then prioritizes communities according to population and wealth. So our less affluent and small communities are at the very top of that list for state matching monies. So our towns would receive a 100% match from the state, giving us over $100,000 a year to spend or to save for these needed projects. Okay, second objection, the state match. Everyone knows the state can't be trusted, and I'm not going to argue that. But in this case, the state funds come not from the general fund that fluctuates every year, but from fees paid at the Registry of Deeds. So every time a home buyer in Buckland or Shelburne purchases their home, refinances a mortgage, or has any other business at the registry, you're paying fees that go to other communities that have adopted the CPA. I want to quickly mention that there are ways to ease that property tax burden. You can exempt the first $100,000 of residential property value from the calculation, thus shifting the burden to more expensive homes. And you can exempt low-income households and low and moderate income households, senior citizens altogether. So these are the communities that have adopted the CPA, shown in green. And as I mentioned, those fees at the registry are being collected from every community in the state, not just these ones. So the only way to bring those funds back to our communities is by adopting the CPA. As testament to how effective the CPA is, in the 12 years it's existed, none of the 155 cities and towns that have adopted it already have withdrawn from the program, even though you can do so after 5 years. And I know that our town budgets are always stretched tight, and these are really challenging financial times for many of us. But I also know that by the time we pay for our roads and our schools and other critical services, the projects that are left are the ones that we really wish we could fund, but we just can't seem to prioritize. The CPA helps move those projects off of our wish list and onto our to-do list. So to give you an idea of how other very small communities in Western Mass are spending their CPA money, Goshen has done extensive repairs to their town hall, and will soon be doing repairs to the exterior. They installed a new heating system. Whately repainted their historic town hall. Sunderland preserved their historic town documents, created an affordable housing plan, and conducted site feasibility studies. Conway helped preserve 2 scenic and productive farms, and contributed to repairs on the Conway Pool Dam. Beckett removed invasive weeds from their center pond, restored 2 community buildings, including the town hall and the library, made 1 handicapped accessible, and purchased land connecting 2 important town-owned parcels. Deerfield repaired their library roof and steps, contributed to 2 farmland protection projects, restored their historic cemetery, and created a senior affordable housing development. Leverett also repaired several community buildings, like their library and town hall, and then preserved this bell tower at their historic society. And these are just a very small sampling of the thousands of projects that communities all across the state are accomplishing with their CPA money. And some of them would have happened without the CPA, but some of them would not have. And they likely happened faster and easier with the CPA in place. And because they bring in state matching funds, they cost taxpayers a lot less to accomplish. So is the CPA right for us? That's up for each of us as individuals and communities to decide. To adopt the CPA, it must be voted on at a regular town election. To put it on the ballot, there are 2 possible paths. 1, town meeting can vote to put it there. Or 2, a petition signed by 5% of registered voters can place it there. And in Buckland, that's 61 voters' signatures. Just saying. The CPA is not the only tool that will help us preserve the amazing quality of life and sense of place that we have here, but it is an important one that deserves our consideration. We love this place for a reason. The farm fields, the historic buildings, all of the special places that make this area so unique are all at risk of attrition and negligence. It takes a lot of money and a lot of funds to keep the places that we love the way they are. So if we decide that these places matter and that we're going to fight for them, then the CPA is a tool we cannot afford to overlook. So if you'd like to learn more about it, you can visit communitypreservation.org or talk to me at the break.